It's my privilege to introduce our speaker, the 29th President of the University of Alabama, Dr. Stuart Bell. Dr. Bell is a mechanical engineer by training. He first came to the capstone as a faculty member and then the department head of mechanical engineering. He then spent time as the dean of the School of Engineering at the University of Kansas, and then was the executive vice president, provost, chief academic officer, chief operating officer at LSU before he returned back to the university as president in 2015. Under his leadership, the university has increased in size with a total enrollment exceeding 40,000 for the first time this year. Both the student retention rates as well as the graduation rates have increased during his tenure. He has also managed the university such that it provides a $3 billion annual impact on our state. In addition to that, the number of out-of-state students that come to the university, a large portion of them are now staying in the state, which will contribute even more. Never lacking in ambition, Dr. Bell announced the launch of the Rising Tide, which was the largest capital campaign at the university and in the state. It achieved its initial goal of $1.5 billion earlier this year. So in typical Dr. Bell fashion, he just extended that by 20% and raised the goal to $1.8 billion. Now, you can read all that on the university's website, but here are a couple things you may not know. Dr. Bell has been critical to the Southeastern Conference efforts to manage this new world of NIL. In his role as president of the executive committee, he has taken a leadership role in managing that, which could only be compared to herding cats. The other thing that you may not know is how active Dr. Bell is in the recruitment of students to the university. Having seen this firsthand, he is tireless in his efforts to recruit. I've seen him attend a number of in-home visits, visits on campus with visiting students, where he actively recruits students to come to our state and helps us bring in the best and the brightest. So it's my pleasure to introduce a tireless worker and advocate for our state, Dr. Bell.
Roll Tide, it is great to be here with you guys. This is like an alumni event. So it was mentioned we're doing a capital campaign, so let's lock the back doors. We're going to finish this thing today, Jay. It is never waste a moment, and actually I will talk about that a little bit more in a few minutes. But again, it is great to be with you in Birmingham, and knowing that this club is so dedicated for the same things I think that our universities are, and certainly University of Alabama is, which is impacting young people, because all of us around our tables, we know the impact of what we do corporately, what we do individually is on raising our young people around our communities up, to move our communities, to move truly our state forward in remarkable fashions. And I just want you to know, University of Alabama is so focused on that. That is what we do. And I'll mention this in a minute. So last night I was actually recruiting in Houston, Texas. So got in about 11 o'clock last night. And let me tell you, we've got bright young people all across this nation who want to find themselves in the state of Alabama. And I'll tell you, after spending 4 years on our campus, they want to stay in the state of Alabama if we can provide those jobs for them. But Kiwanis, what you do, I know it's a volunteer organization, but what you do is so critical. It is critical to Birmingham. It is critical to the state of Alabama. It is critical for what we do as a state. And so thank you for helping young people prosper, helping young people grow. That is what we do at the University of Alabama. So as I mentioned, I was in Houston yesterday. I was visiting with some donors. There's a lot more of you guys here. I should have stayed here and done individual visits. But again, out there, it's really cool to see the reach of our universities and see the reach of the University of Alabama. When I go out to Houston, I have got just dozens of folks that I can spend time with. And I spent time with donors yesterday, but I also spent time with young people. I will tell you, there is the reason. So I am an engineer by training. I worked out in engineering. I was in oil and gas for Mobil Research and Development, now ExxonMobil, for many years. But there is something about helping young people dream at a higher level, helping young people realize those dreams, because somebody did that for me. And quite frankly, somebody did that for everyone around this table. And so being able to continue to do that is always a joy for me, to have those conversations, and I smile a lot when they tell me what they want to do and where they want to be, and it is really remarkable. So we had over 200 people at an event last night at the JW Marriott right across from the Galleria, if you guys know where that is. And it never fails, the students and the parents ask me, what is it that's special about the University of Alabama that my students have come home and said that's where they want to go? And I said, well, there are a lot of things about the University of Alabama. Quite frankly, it's probably the people in this room that you all give back to the university. You take time to spend with young people. That shows on our campus anytime a student comes to visit. But it is about the experiences, the opportunities that we allow our students to get involved in at the University of Alabama, and that very personal touch. And I will tell you, I don't think there is a university that does it as well than the University of Alabama. I also shared with the parents last night, I said, if you do not want your student to go to the University of Alabama, do not bring them to a campus visit, okay? Because you are going to be fighting it all the rest of their senior year. So they always kind of smile at that, and then when they come, they go, God, you weren't kidding. This is a great place. I mean, I would say probably about half those kids have been on campus visit. The other half, we invited them to make sure that they're able to be there. But what it takes to make a university great today is certainly, some things are the same as it was 20 years ago, but there's a lot of things that are different. It takes a lot of folks, a lot of energy on our campus, but our campus shows well, and our people are really dedicated to young people, and I think it makes a difference. So you already heard that we actually broke about 30 enrollment records this fall. I'll just speak on a couple of them very quickly. The overall enrollment, 40,846 students on our campus, largest our campus has ever been, so just a little bit under 41,000 students. These kids are smart. Okay, now, for our alums, they're the second smartest. Each of y'all's classes was our smartest, all right, okay, individually. But I'm going to tell you, they are a bright group of people, and they are really remarkable to have in classes and to have them on our campuses, and we love to do that. Another record that we broke was the overall number of in-state freshmen coming to the University of Alabama. So our in-state freshmen, of that freshman class, over 3,400. That's a new record for the University of Alabama. That broke the record that was set in 2008 and broke it by a fair amount. So again, we continue to, yes, reach students from the state of Alabama. And I mean, we have students from all 67 counties, 50 states, including the District of Columbia, and 95 countries are on our campus. It is a remarkable environment for students, yes, to be Alabama-centric, but folks, I'm an engineer, accountants, whatever your field is, today is a world, it is a global society, and we provide an incredible environment for those students to get that perspective and to understand what it means to be a leader in your field at the University of Alabama. They learned that in really a remarkable way, and what an incredible time it is for me to see. I share with the folks, you guys all know where I live. Y'all know that house? I'm going to tell you, it is the best front porch in America. Saturday morning, y'all heard we had an event on our campus on Saturday. I always love to go out well before game day and just sit out on my front porch. I usually have a drink of hot tea and text my daughter who lives overseas, and she's an Alabama graduate, so I send her a picture and say, just remembering you, Stace, let you see what it's like, all the energy on campus. But let me tell you, seeing those people move around, seeing our students move around, it is amazing to know the impact that your campus is having on young people, and then the impact that those young people are having all over the world. I mean, it is riveting. It is riveting for me. It was a great start to the semester. Let me tell you, there is nothing like having 40,000 students living right behind your house at the start of the semester. The energy level of 18 to 19-year-olds, if we could tap it and put it into power plants, I'm pretty sure we could power the state of Alabama, but they have got a lot of energy on our campus, and it has been a great semester. Certainly breaking enrollment records, just breaking philanthropy records, all the things that the students get involved in. You should be proud of young people in the state of Alabama. You should be proud of the young people who are on our campus. It is really remarkable. Week before last, we also announced Kate Herndon was named as the 17th Rhodes Scholar at the University of Alabama. And if you guys remember back when y'all were applying to be Rhodes Scholars, okay, so that's our 17th Rhodes Scholar at the University of Alabama. University of Alabama has more Rhodes Scholars than all the other public universities in the state of Alabama combined. So all the other universities have 13 combined. University of Alabama has 17. There is something special about attracting young people of that character, of that quality to the university, and then providing them with the tools, providing them with that experience that when they go out and compete nationally for something like the Rhodes Scholar, that we do that. 3 years ago, Nick Friends was also named one of our Rhodes Scholars. So we've had two in the last 3 years. Just as a point of reference, this year there was only 3 public universities in the nation that had Rhodes Scholars named. You need to be proud of what's happening right here in the University of Alabama. And while some may debate, and I know there is some debate in today's world about the value of higher education in our nation, what you need to know is, I think here in the state of Alabama, and certainly at the University of Alabama, we are providing great quality. Overall, over the life of a graduate's earning, they will earn more than $2 million in lifetime learning, more than they would as a high school student, and all that combines to meet, as you heard, a $3 billion impact that this university has on the state of Alabama. It is student by student, providing them with greater opportunities, providing them with greater earning capabilities. We continue to do that. Message to your neighbors, message to those around you. Higher education is a huge value. It's a huge value for our young people to be able to do things that they wouldn't be able to do otherwise. And we continue to support our student success. We're also creating great spaces on our campus. So how many, again, of you all have been on our campus, students or alums, okay? When you guys come back in the summer, let me just say I'm sorry. Okay, the roads are closed, we're repaving, we're doing, we had 86 building projects that we completed this past summer on our campus. But it is beautiful. And we're creating those spaces every year to make sure that we are able to provide what our students need to be the best and the brightest in this country, truly in the world. How many of y'all been to the Randall Welcome Center? Have you been there? Y'all know what I'm talking about, Randall Welcome Center? I love going over there and having some parents come out. I had a parent, maybe one of the first weeks that we opened it up, and he looked at me and he said, Dr. Bell, it's just not fair. I said, that's right. And that's how we like it. It's just not fair. But if you haven't visited, I encourage you to go by and find, that's our front door now. It's where students and parents, all of our tours start right there at the Randall Welcome Center. And it is a remarkable new facility. This summer, we also opened up our hydrologic instrumentation facility. That's a mouthful. I would call it the HIF. But that is a water research center that the feds built on our campus. Again, about $100 million, has a huge tow tank, a lot of water research it's doing. If you don't know, University of Alabama has really become the national center for water research, again, in the United States. We have the Water Center, we have the HIF that's opened up, we have a number of other federal organizations that have located there. We're leading a group of about 20 other universities nationwide in doing water research through a project called Cairo. It's funded at a level of about $300 million. It is a huge, huge effort, making sure that we're solving the problems of clean water, water availability, flooding, and also even on the global scale, we have the Global Water Center that is able to take a look at what's happening around the globe that's focused on water. It's amazing. It's amazing how many wars and how many conflicts start over water availability. I mean, we see it between here and Georgia, don't we, on the Chattahoochee? Okay, just think about that on steroids when you take a look at that at the global scale. We're involved in that, so we provide information to DOD, we provide information to our federal government on where we see issues that are rising there. All of that is helping our country address critical water issues, and it's all focused right at the University of Alabama. So many of you guys probably know where our new nursing building is. So when you come into our campus on University Boulevard, right there on the right, is a new nursing building. If you move just about 100 yards, 200 yards to the north of that, you'll also find a new investment, and we're providing a $100 million investment in high-performance computing. And that high-performance computing is exactly what it says. We're going to be building a new computer center. Actually, we've broken ground on that new facility. It'll be built in the next 2 years, and it will be one of the most powerful computers in this part of the United States, and it was going to be aimed at advancing artificial intelligence, cybersecurity. You'll be doing some of that water modeling that we do for the feds, helping them to understand all the flooding opportunities. But this new facility will position, again, the university in the state of Alabama to continue to be a leader in those fields that are important to our national security and those fields that are important to certainly the state of Alabama, but all of the university and all of our state. We're also making great advancements in building our curriculum. Built by Bama is a new initiative that we'll be finishing this year, and it is how we're revitalizing everything we're doing in our curriculum to make our curriculum more flexible, allowing students to take fewer core courses and more elective courses so that as fields change, our students are able to take courses and prepare themselves more specifically for the areas that they're going into. Jim Dalton, our provost, is leading that effort, and that will be launching this next year. Really amazing. It focuses a lot on experiential learning. As an engineer, I did a lot of co-op, I did a lot of internships, and that's really what this curriculum will help us do, is to provide more of that experiential learning so our students can hit the ground running as they go out and work on research projects, or if they work on internships, really fostering those critical decision abilities that our students will have so they can make an impact for their companies. We've also, if you've been for game day, University Club, if you've been back for that, what a great new facility. We just opened that this past summer as well, that provides that ability for really Tuscaloosa to host events in really a remarkable way, in the way that you guys would expect us to be able to do. And that is a great focus for us as well. We do continue to advance our research, and again, as an engineer, you all know that engineers do a lot of research and do a lot of inventing. You know, I grew up in West Texas, and people said, "Why did you become an engineer?" I said, "Well, there wasn't anything to do where I grew up. So I was out in the garage a lot inventing stuff. At least I thought I was inventing stuff." But we have really moved the dial in that field. So in 2015, when I came in as president, we were doing about $75 million annually on research. This year, we almost reached $300 million. So 9 years of consecutive growth in the research activities. The really great thing about that is we involve our students in all that work that we're doing. And so that just helps our students be prepared whether they're going to medical field, whether they're going into engineering, whether they're going to business, cyber, whatever that area is. Our students are getting that hands-on experience, and that experience that you can only get through research and really bringing that alive in the classrooms. We've had 9 years of consecutive growth again. Really remarkable. We're in the top 5 fastest growing research institutions. among all the R1 institutions. We also mentioned our capital campaign. This week, we've moved above $1.635 billion for our capital campaign. That's a lot of money, folks. But we have set our goal for $1.8 billion. So if you have given to the capital campaign, I want to thank you for that. If you have participated in that. If you have not, today's the day. Let's just get it done. I also want to say that we love repeat givers. So if you have given, don't feel like you're excluded. You can give again. And the campaign has already had such a remarkable impact. We have generated over 1,050 new endowed scholarships for students. And again, there's nothing more important than impacting young people so that they're able to come to University of Alabama and they're able to successfully pay for that and go out with little debt as they graduate. That is important. We've also already generated over 65 new endowed faculty positions. So you say, what's an endowed faculty position? That provides additional resources for those chairs and those professors that we try to recruit from other universities, and I do that everywhere I go. If I see a great faculty member, I want them to come to University of Alabama because it's a better place, but also just so they can impact our students in remarkable ways. We've also created over 500,000 square feet of new space on our campus. All of those things have been accomplished during these first 8.5 years of the capital campaign. We have 1.5 years left on the capital campaign. So again, I hope that if you haven't participated, and if you didn't go to Alabama, we still love your money. So if you've got a student or someone that you think you want to help get to Alabama, you talk with us. We'll figure out a way to make that happen. We'll figure out a way, Marlon, to take Bobby, make that money happen, right? Okay, all right. Let me change gears just a little bit. We did have a great game this past weekend. It's always exciting when I get to go out and meet folks on the front of my lawn. I had about 900 of my closest friends in town and on the front lawn. So we did a lot of roll tides before the game. We did a lot of roll tides during the game. We did a lot of roll tides after the game. But what I want you to know, it is exciting. I do have students who will come and visit. And last night I invited a number of kids who have been on campus to come and visit me. And in my office, I've got a box of 30 championship rings. Did y'all hear that? I didn't know. Make sure this mic was working. 30 championship rings. Now, several of those are, one of my favorites was the 2016 season, and so I've got the SEC championship. Then we went out and we played in the CFP, and then where did we go after that, Bobby? Because Marlon recovered the onside kick. We went out and we beat Clemson out in Glendale, Arizona. And, funny story, I don't know if I ever told you this, Martin. So Coach Saban, after that game, came and brought me in a ball, and he said a game ball. And, of course, I'd only been there for a year. And I said, well, what do you mean it's a game ball? And he said, well, we take balls to every game, championship game we're playing in, and this is one of the 20 balls this was actually played with. And I'm like, this ball was played with. He said, yeah. I said, this is the ball we did the onside kick with. Now, Nick didn't know me very well, and he said, yeah, sure it is. I'm going to tell you all that is not that ball. Either Marlon has that ball or Nick has that ball, but I like to pretend it was. It's on my shelf. But love to show the kids that. Love to show the kids the rings. It is something that I think in all of our universities, and certainly at the University of Alabama, something we take great pride in is in something we enjoy. We just enjoy doing and seeing our student athletes. And of course, I don't know if we invented it, but there's this new game that we've gotten really good at in the last 10 years. We call it round ball. You know what I'm talking about? Final Four was pretty exciting last year, and Nate Oates has done a remarkable job. We actually had a game here in Boutwell Auditorium. That was the first time I had been in Boutwell Auditorium, and what a great time we had playing. I think it was actually an outreach philanthropic game, fundraiser, and we loved doing those, and Nate loved doing those as well. But our student athletes are remarkable. I think they also exhibit the resilience that we have in young people today, and certainly what they're doing is always exciting for us to see, whatever the sport is that you enjoy. And I'm fortunate that I love lots of sports, and so I get to see a lot of really great sports at the University of Alabama. And I'm just looking so forward to the resilience and the dedication that we continue to see among our student athletes. You already heard, so Jay mentioned I'm president of the SEC. I'm actually in my second year of that. It has been dog years. Y'all know what I mean by that? I mean, the last 2 years have, I don't think there's a more important time in athletics for our nation than really where we are today. What I will tell you all, and I know that some of you are really involved in it, you see it, and some are kind of on the periphery. What I will tell you is we have so many great people actually like Jay and others in this room who care so much and are focused on it and have helped through that process. I do think we've got a great plan as we're moving forward. I think we're going to get a good bit of this solved in the next few months. But I do want to thank all of you for your continued support of that and how we're going to resolve and make sure that we're still able to have the great academic programs across our country that we have enjoyed. We're working hard on that, certainly at the SEC level. And I'll just tell you, the SEC is so far ahead of others. Now, I don't know if I've got other folks in here from other. We're working with all the A4, but truly we've got presidents, we've got a commissioner, and we've got a lot of the folks who are just pouring in. I was just meeting with the commissioner just before this meeting, and again, working hard that we bring that to an amazing, healthy environment for our athletes, for our fans, and for everyone to continue and enjoy that. So I think I'll just close there. It has been a great year at the University of Alabama. More and more kids had 58,000 applications for the freshman class. More and more young people, both in our state and outside of our state, want to find themselves at the University of Alabama. Our research continues to burgeon. Our academic curricular programs are so respected by companies as they continue to send folks to recruit and hire those young people. And then our capital campaign is just doing so well. And thank you all for doing that. It is great to be with you all. Thank you for inviting me for lunch today to visit with you all. I don't know if we have a minute or two. I'm happy if we do to answer a question or two. But again, thank you guys for being out, and roll tide. Yes, sir. Right. So really not a lot of impact. In fact, this year when I mentioned we had over 30, when we have over 30 enrollment records, we could just continue to break every one of those records. So if we look at our minority enrollment records, we broke those again this year. In-state, out-of-state, what I will tell you is on the out-of-state level, we've made it a little bit tougher for out-of-state students to migrate into the University of Alabama. We still want the best and the brightest, but we've raised that bar a little bit and are really focusing particularly on making sure that we get our in-state students in. And we all know that if you take a look at our in-state populations, we've got some great high schools. Let me tell you, we've also got some high schools that maybe didn't provide as much opportunity for some really great students that are there. So we put a lot of new programs in place that when we see, and we have seen, some really great young people maybe didn't have those opportunities to take advanced placement classes, or just because the school districts are smaller. We're reaching out to those and making sure they can be successful. This year we had the the highest retention rate we've ever had at the University of Alabama. Almost 90% of our freshmen matriculated to sophomore. And you say, is that good? That's really good. That number is really good. So what we've seen, certainly over this past year with the incoming freshman class, is high quality, very diverse incoming student class, and students who are being successful and being maintained. Right now, we are in the middle of our recruiting class, so I can't tell you kind of how we're going to land this next August, but what I can tell you is we're running about 3 to 4% ahead of where we were last year. So looking ahead, I think we're going to have a good year this year. I have been traveling all over the U.S. I was in New York, New Jersey, and Philadelphia about 3 weeks ago. And I'm going to tell you, the parents are saying, we don't like what we see up here. We want our students to be at Alabama. I was in Baton Rouge, which I understand. I was in Baton Rouge in New Orleans 2 weeks ago, and had a parent come up to me and said, okay, and we had a great turnout in New Orleans, just a great turnout. Parent came up to me and said, okay, so introduced me to the son, this National Merit student, which, by the way, I didn't mention, we have more national merits than any other university, public or private, in the nation. He said, my son's National Merit, and he's coming to Alabama, just congratulations. I said, great, we're really excited. He said, but I will tell you, I don't feel great about the state of Louisiana because you guys are getting the best and the brightest from all across the country. Last night, I had several National Merit students in Houston who came up. It is an opportunity for us as a state, because I will tell you, when these students spend a little bit of time in our state and on our campus, they want to stay here. We have a great environment. And so I think there continues to be great opportunity. Everything we do in life is there's always a strife. There's always, you have to work harder for it. It's somewhat like demographics. You know, the demographics are that we're going to see high school numbers decrease for graduates of high school. I always tell people there's always going to be winners and losers. Okay, in anything, and certainly in business, it's harder to be successful today than maybe it was 20 years ago. So what do? You work harder. University of Alabama will always be on the winning side. We position ourselves for, whether it's laws, whether it's findings, whatever's occurred, that we're going to be on the winning side of that. This year was certainly an example. We're on the winning side of that, of the quality of the students, the number of students that we're bringing in, and I think the impact and the way our students are prepared. I am bullish. I am bullish about what we're doing at the university. We will work hard, and we'll be on the winning side of that and continue to be. Is that helpful? Okay, great. Another question? Yes? Roll Tide. Absolutely. And certainly we do it a lot. I mean, we get so many programs, including, I call them fireside chats in my home. So I invite groups of students in my home and sit down, and we just have fireside chats about, you know, how are things feeling? How are things progressing? And certainly we work very hard on all those issues you just talked about. Are there things that we can do better to make sure that you are successful and that you are feeling successful? Are some of those hard conversations? Obviously they are. I mean, we're, you know, as an institution, as individual students, we want to make sure that we're meeting your need to be successful. I guess what I would tell you is I have not heard anything that would say we're at a point of a real challenge. I mean, it's a challenge in that we make sure our students feel successful, that we are welcome, that they're going to be able to continue. I do think it's, you know, the last couple of years have been pretty hard, just nationally. We've, since, I'll pivot a little bit and say since the October 7th of last year, there's been a lot of challenge with that group of students on our campus. And, Friday before last, not this last Friday, but the Friday before that, we had the General Council of Israel who came to our university and bestowed upon our university what they call the White Rose Society. Does anyone know what that is? Okay, it's a very unique award that they hand out, but basically what it is during these hard times, you have made sure that the Jewish students feel like they have a place at home, that they have a place that are not feeling that threatened, that they can be successful. And I think the University of Alabama, and whether it is based on ethnicity, I think whether it's based on our religious beliefs, whether it's based on color of our skin, whatever that is, we work hard to make sure that those students feel successful and feel like they are served. So we're going to continue to do that. I always tell my students I got an open door policy. You guys come in and have conversation with me, and we have we've been able to do that, I think, to a successful level, but always on our mind, always a focus. When I drive into the University of Alabama, and I think several of you all will see that we have these signs out front. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Right in front of the nursing building. What do those signs say on them? Teaching, research, and service. I'm pretty sure each one of those names involves students. We're all about our students at the university and making sure that they feel welcome, safe, and secure there. So thank you for that question. Great. All right. Thank you guys again. Roll Tide.
Thank you, Dr. Bell. We appreciate your leadership and all you're doing at the university and for spending time with us today. Again, I know in a very busy time of the year for you. In appreciation of your time with us today, we'll be making a donation in your name to your charity of choice. So thanks again. So a couple quick reminders. Don't forget again, Thursday, RSVP for our holiday luncheon a week from today. Also, just a quick preview of programs. Only one more meeting after that for the year, December 17th here at the Harbert Center. Rich Beelan, CEO of Protective Life. Then looking ahead, we'll give you New Year's Eve and Christmas Eve in reverse order off. Into 2025, great speaker lineup, including Amanda Sin, Alabama Securities Commission Director. Our mayor will be here to deliver State of the City in January. Mike Succo, CEO of Coca-Cola Bottling Company United. Helena Duncan, President and CEO of the Business Council of Alabama. And Greg Sankey, SEC Commissioner, just to name a few. So put those on your calendar. Please plan to join us. And we are adjourned. Past presidents, remember, we'll gather briefly in the second floor library downstairs. Thanks a lot. Have a good week.